So let's refresh the chat tool here. Nothing going on in my HTML chat, so either that is not working anymore again, or nobody's saying something. Let me refresh the chat. Ah, Sal Samuel, he is back. Yes, you're back. Wonderful. Wunderbar. Fucking bullshit. There must be, once per cast, there must be something that pisses me off. At least one thing, let's say this way. Torture me or don't, it will all end the same way. I'll be dead, you will know nothing for certain, and my clients will move ahead on schedule. Help us out then. If you're already dead, why care about being a snitch? I won't give your she-troll the satisfaction. She wants it, that's why she won't get it. Iga's hands bunched into fists. She's still smiling, but can feel the heat of the hatred behind her eyes. If you don't start telling me what I want to hear the next 30 seconds, this is going to get messy. I know that look, Yuli. I would start talking if I were... The engineer cuts you off, a perverse smile has spread across his face. You know, Iga. He takes his time pronouncing the name, savors it. I would like to tell you a story. We share so much history, you and I. Iga says nothing, but her eyes narrow. The engineer continues, his grin broadening. This is a funny story. It's a story about your time in the KSK, a story about fertility. I can tell you all about the many lives you've touched, and how the syndicates touched them again afterward. Would you like that? There's a long pause. Eventually Iga turns to face you. Elanarae! Do me a favor. Sweep the building for intel. Anything that we might have missed on the way. I don't know if that's a great idea, Iga. It's necessary, Elanarae. She shoots a disgusted glance at your captive. And I won't let this twisted little prick chase me out of the room. He can tell me whatever story he likes. It feels like this guy's getting under your skin and we can't afford to kill him before we get to the truth. Don't worry about me, everything's alright on my end. But this asshole is right about one thing. We aren't going to solve this on his word alone. Agreed, but I don't think we can beat the answers out of him either. Oh, no, of course not. I'm sure that he will eventually spell the name you're looking for, but it would be buried in so much white noise that it would be impossible to filter out. If you can't find some corroborating evidence though, that might help us wade through the river of bullshit he's doing. I can't tell you what to look for, but he was doing business with Rambok in this building. There must be something in there that cares who he represents. Alright, Iga, but remember, we need the son of a bitch alive, no torture. Yeah. She turns back to the engineer. I'm good, but be quick. Why can't I use my shaman power to see in his spirit or something? I don't know. Did you already kill him? No? Okay. I'm watching you through the window, Iga. Something on the forklift? The forklift's tires are flat. Looks like it hasn't been used in years. There's a ledger. There's a small ledger lying on this crate. The cover is cheap, leatherette, and the paper is tissue-tin newsprint. Leaf through the papers. The pages are filled to overflowing with handwritten text. You don't recognize the language, but judging by the exit marks, you would guess it's a Scandinavian tongue. While you can't read it, the arrangement of the text tells you the ledger is primarily being used as an address book. Pocket the book and move on. Iga, I'm watching you! Chemical storage where was the light just still is completely empty. It looks melted. The cargo container is empty. What about this one? This generic courier drone has been snapped together out of prefab parts from a dozen different manufacturers. It's a cheap, utilitarian thing. Remarkable only that it is so incredibly plain. A half-bred teenager could cobble something like this together in an afternoon. The drone sits in a charging cradle, its turbofan unpowered. A cheerful green light blinks on its front panel to remind you that it's still active. You can see the silhouette of something under the flimsy plastic dome of the drone's cargo compartment. Whatever this thing was there to deliver, it's still carrying it. Pop the lid on the cargo container. You depress the catch on the container's plastic lid. Rather than swinging open, the lid slides back to your touchpad. Looks as though this thing is password locked. Examine the drone more closely. Taking a closer look, you notice something strange. There's a set of electrical contact plates lining the lip of the drone's cargo compartment. It's fair bet that this thing is outfitted with an anti-tampering system of some kind. Enter password. The touchpad glows intensively. Eiger. No. Step away. Let's don't smash it. Let's not smash it. Let's do it this way. Let's see what's in this. Is he still alive? Okay, Eiger. I'm watching you. Ah. There's some dead guy here. The broken body of a human lies on the floor. His face is a mess of fresh cuts and congelating blood, and his head is oddly deformed. Despite his wounds, his mouth is twisted in a macabre smile. Inspect the body. Judging by the shape of the ganger's head, you would guess that his skull has been fractured in at least 3 places. The center of his forehead is particularly gruesome. It looks soft, as though the skin were stretched like a tent between shards of broken bone. Looking up, you can see a great smear of gore on the door of the room that you found him in. The implications are clear. This man bashed his own head in trying to get out, and he did it with a smile on his face. His hands are badly broken too. You've seen these sorts of injuries after bare-knuckle fist fights, but never anything this severe. This man punched something hard and went on punching until his hands were wedged to useless slabs of meat. Ugh. Don't mind me, just standing here. As you approach, you can see the engineer's chest is sheeted with blood. Most of it seems to be streaming from his nose, with him crushed into a vat of bloody meat. Eiger turns to face you, her bunched fists are dripping wet. Find anything? She speaks to you through clenched teeth, her voice sounds strained and her cheeks are flushed. Having fun? I'm not doing this for fun. I'm doing it because he deserves it. If you knew half of what this bastard has done, you would heard the things that he just told me. You would do the same. Beating the tar out of a helpless prisoner is injustice. No, stand down. She pauses and turns away. Just tell me what you found. Yes, please. The engineer's voice is thick and wet. He smiles through a set of gore-streaked teeth. Enlighten us. I found his ledger. I don't recognize the language, but it looks Scandinavian. Eiger leaves through the journal, quickly flipping the Zoika-stained pages. Norwegian, maybe. I'm thinking that this is written in Bokmal, she frowns. I can't read it, but it looks like a shipping manifest. Yeah, something like that. A lot of addresses in there. She rifles through the pages, flipping the cheap paper with her thumbnail. Looks like addresses all the way through. Some are annotated, but I can't see any names. 2/3 of the way through the book, she stops short. Find something interesting? Wordlessly, she turns the journal around. At the top of the page, written in a different hand, is a single word. It's written in English, but you can understand it all the same. Wednesday. She nods. Yeah. Not particularly helpful without a full date, but I get it's something. Of course, Wednesday might not refer to a day of the week at all. It could be a code for something. Taken out of context like this, it's impossible to say. So what do you make of this? This should be good. Eiger ignores him. Her gaze remains fixed on the book. It might be nothing. It could mean that he's back in bed with the Lopachevsky syndicate. The engineer holds his silence. Is that it, Yuli? Are you taking orders from your old bosses again? He pauses a moment for quaking out an answer. Maybe, who's to say? You are, if you know what's good for you. You're going to hit me again? Okay, then yes, I am working for the Lopacheskis. You want names? I will give you my names. More names than you know what to do with. What's happening on Wednesday, Yuli? His mouth twists in a bloody grin. This Wednesday, I'll be putting your mother to work on the street corner. And when she's all worn out, I'll give your father a shot at the job. You can do better than that. Go die in a ditch. Did you find anything else? We need to be sure about this before moving forward. I found a body in the other room. From the looks of him, he tried using his head to beat down a steel-reinforced door. Interesting, but not unusual in these parts. There are all kinds of drugs that could make a person act that way. And most of them aren't hard to get in a place like shut nest. Have you found anything else? I must have missed something. I will keep searching. Wednesday, eh? Let's try this on the drone. Enter password. Wednesday. Yes! The plastic lid of the cargo container pops open with a click. Inside you find what appears to be a homemade cement clip. It sits securely in a custom-made plastic bracket. I tell you guys, after this game, I'm not going to play any games for a long time where you have to read anything. My brain feels like mush. Holy fuck. Have you guys tried reading a book out loud for 5 hours straight? It's horrible, I can tell you that. Take the chip. You pop the chip out of the bracket and pocket it. A few seconds later, an angry hissing sound comes from somewhere deep within the drone. Step. Ugh. As you step away from the drone, the hissing sound grows into a war. Bright white sparks spit out from the drone's melting chassis and streak across the room. You've seen this kind of reaction before, termites. Whoever built the drone must have wired it with a self-destruct device. Within seconds, all that's left of the little drone is a molten wreck in the charging cradle. Foul-smelling smoke pours from the remains. You steal another glance at the chip you recovered and turn away. You're big. Find anything else? It's a men's chip. There are a pair of courier drones in the other room. No markings. They look custom built. One of them had been slacked, but the other had his chip in his storage compartment. Yeah, damn, 2 PM to 12 PM makes the voice vary. When you produce the chip, the engineer's eyes widen slightly. He turns his head and cuffs Wacker's body. Interesting. This means something to you, Yuli? Iger takes the chip from you and holds it up to the light. No identifying markings. I've seen enough BTLs in my time to know one when I see it, but this is different. It's been modified somehow. Go ahead and slot it, bitch. It will take you on the ride of your life. Iger raises an eyebrow. Smack him for me, will you? I'm busy. Iger, refresh my memory. What's a BTL? You don't get out much, do you? A BTL is a kind of cement sense chip. Stands for better than life. They are cheap, easy to find, and incredibly addictive. People have died of dehydration while riding BTL lights. It's pretty common on the streets. They just stay plugged in until the body gives out. Not a pretty way to go, believe me. And speaking of which, look at Yuli's temples. See the sweat beating up? I would say our friend here has developed himself a habit. You don't know what you're holding, slack. He spits the words out like venom. His eyes are locked on the chips in Iger's hand. Slowly he licks his lips. You don't deserve to touch that chip. I think that you're right, Iger. Our friend here is an addict. The engineer glances at you with a snarl. Fuck you. The thing is, I know our friend's rep, and I'm telling you, he's too much careful to get himself addicted to Sims. She glances at the engineer, his eyes are locked on the chip. If these things have him hooked this badly, they must be even more addictive than standard BTLs. That's a frightening thought. You're telling me? The last thing that we need is more sim junkies on our street. She turns to face the engineer. You got anything to add to that, Yuli? You have no idea how wrong you are about all of this. He struggles to rise from the floor, but his muscles refuse to cooperate. Finally, he gives up with a scowl. If I could move my arms, I would take that chip from you and show you what it does. I'm sure that you would. She glances over her shoulder at you. Good find, Elanarae. We struck a nerve. Any other thoughts? Yeah, actually, I think I might know where the other chip went. Remember that body I found in the other room? Yeah, good thought. Go check it out, but be quick. I don't know how long it will be before we have company here. I'm on it. Hey, company. The wound body lies crumpled on the floor. Its fractured skull glistens wetly in the light. Search for the missing chip. Peeling back a patch of matted hair, you find something that a casual viewer would have missed. The man has a chip jack. It's a cheap model, sufficient for loading SimSense chip and BTLs, but little else. It doesn't take much effort for you to pry it open. Inside the chip jack you find a glob of plastic. It looks as though whatever this guy was running melted down sometime after he slotted it. A chip jack like this couldn't generate enough heat to destroy a SimSense chip. The only logical conclusion is the chip itself was wired to melt down after use. Take the burnt out chip and leave. The engineer's eyes remain locked on the chip. His face has gone pallid white and his shirt is drenched with sweat. His eyes bulge and his breathing is heavy. Aika glances up from your manic captive and looks you in the eye. Find what you're looking for? Yeah, I pried his chip jack open for the blob of melted plastic inside. It was still warm to the touch. Aika examines the remnants of the chip in your fingers. I've heard of things like these before. Single-use SIMs, designed to self-destruct after they are slotted. Keeps the customer from using the same BTL over and over again. I would say that you found our missing chip. I don't know who would willingly slot something like this. It drove him to kill himself, and from the looks of the body, he enjoyed every second of it. The engineer lets out a chuckle. It's a horse barking sound. You don't know a damn thing. Why don't you educate us? The chip doesn't drive you insane, it opens your eyes. His voice grows in volume, becomes wet. Slot one and you become a god. Iga stares at him, her expression flat. The engineer sneers. I too was skeptic. Then the wolf caught me, and then the raven opened my eyes. And now that at last I can see. Suddenly he lurches forward. Every muscle in his body goes tight and the cord strands out on his neck. Give me the chip! It was promised to me! I need it! Tell us who you're working for and it's all yours. The engineer spits out a mouthful of blood. It hits the tile floor with a sickening splat. He grinds his teeth and snarls out a single word. Winter night. There's a moment of silence. Finally Iga speaks. Never heard of them. Of course you haven't, Beach. If you had, you would already be dead. They don't leave loose ends. His body begins to tremble. It looks like the drugs are wearing off. They have money, she troll. Money and influence, enough to put the syndicates to shame. Even I cannot say how much, but I do know that what I've seen is just the tip of the spear. Alright, let's say that you are telling the truth and some sort of secret society is behind this. What do they want with Shutnest? They do not tell me these things. All I know is that they want to store things here. Crates, boxes, shipped in from all over. No cargo inspection, no trace inspected to them. What are they shipping in? Weapons, drugs, more of these BTLs? He eyes her incredulously. You think that I asked them? It's not my place to know. All that I know is what was promised to me. Give me the chip! His voice comes out in a shivering screech. You promised! She promised you the chip. Iga smiles at the engineer. Slowly, she pulls a knife from her belt. Its serrated edge glints in the night. I, on the other hand, didn't offer you a goddamn thing. She's got you there. Iga leans in to look the engineer in the eye. She grins. Goodbye, Yuli. She plunges her blade into the engineer's throat. The orc lets out a startled gurgling sound, thrashes and dies. Iga wipes her hands clean and looks up, an expression of grim satisfaction on her face. Well, that takes care of that. Thanks for the assist, fearless leader. No problem, but we aren't done yet. We still have Winter Night to deal with. Can't do it, fearless leader. What you're suggesting is beyond the scope of our capabilities. I don't have any contacts in Norway. We wouldn't even know where to begin looking for Winter Night. And if we found them, what then? The two of us aren't going to stop an international conspiracy on our own. We are good, but we're not that good. You've got a point there. We'll let the Flux State handle it. Good call. Now there's just one more thing that I want to do before we head back home. The gestures at the engineer's lifeless body. We still need to search the bastard. Who knows, maybe he has some additional evidence on him or in him. Could be that he has hardware storage. We won't know until we go digging. I will leave you to it. Like hell you will. Get in here and help out. Time passes, the job is long and unpleasant, but eventually you find something. A hidden storage compartment on one of the engineer's cyber arms. Deactivated as a cyberware as it takes some prying to get it open, but Iga leans in and puts some muscle into it. With a metallic snapping sound, the compartment yarns open. Iga reaches in and pulls out a cylindrical object about the size of a beer can. She inspects it and a smile creeps across her face. What the hell is that? She holds the object up for your inspection. This, my friend, is a pulse grenade. The last I heard, the Russian military were developing them as crowd dispersal devices. But that was years ago. It looks like Yuli kept a memento of his time in the Spetsnaz. She examines the grenade with a critical eye. Looks like typical Russian engineering. Clunky, but functional. If I took this thing apart, I bet I could figure out how they made it. Anything else in there? She dips her hand into the secret compartment one more time. No, not that I can. Without warning, the engineer's cyber arms begin to twitch. His body bucks convulsively while his dead eyes stare straight back. Iga snatches her hand back and steps backward. What the hell? Ow. The engineer's body surges forward, a violent convulsive motion. His eyes bulge out of his skull. Then his chest evaporates in a spray of light. As you watch, the chemical fire that rages from the engineer's body blackens his flesh and spits sparks across the room. It's the same reaction that you saw when the drone went up, a termite reaction. His employees, Winter Night, they must have implanted that thing in him. Yeah, must have. I'm willing to bet that if he hadn't used the cyberware deactivator on him, he would have gone up before he had the chance to spill any names. If you were looking for further proof, I think that was it. Yeah, looks that way. Let's go. People need to know about this. Objective complete. Do not let your engineer escape. The U-Bahn whisks you back toward the Kreuzbazaar. Iga standing by your side. The image of the engineer's body disintegrating in flame replays itself over and over in your mind. The bright flash, the shower of sparks, the overpowering stench of sizzling meat. A blue-green after-image hangs suspended in the center of your field of vision, and it refuses to be blinked away. From what Iga told you, the engineer was a menace, an international criminal at the top of his game, and as you watched, he was consumed from within by a device that marked him as disposable. The rattle of your U-Bahn car coming to a halt shakes you from your reverie. You are home. I guess first Dietrich and then Blitz. All this for 2 karma. I mean, okay, story, blah. Let's see what Dietrich's up to. Dietrich! Dante, do you have a mission for me? If I pet you enough, you You sent me off to something, I don't know. Dietrich, hi! Dietrich raises the bottle at your porch. Hey again, boss, you need something? I was thinking about what you told me earlier. You said that your idol was going to make you pick a fight that you couldn't win. He shrugs. It's bound to happen eventually. Probably sooner rather than later. Isn't there something that you can do to stop that from happening? Well, I suppose that I could refuse, but that probably won't be a good idea, especially not now. Remember, boss, the Dragon Slayer is where my magic comes from. If I turn away from him, you would better believe that he will turn away from me. Besides which, I don't even know if I can refuse him anymore. He's been with me for so long. I don't know where he stops and I begin. He grins at you. Don't you worry about me, boss. I've known that this was coming for my entire life. And when it happens, I will go down with a blaze of glory, the likes of which you can't even imagine. That's a promise. So if you were to pick a fight with a different kind of dragon, say maybe a gang or corporation. He pauses for a moment. That's an interesting idea. If we're big enough or heinous enough, he might be satisfied. I've never tried to bargain or negotiate with the Dragon Slayer before. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I don't know how he would take it either. Dragon Slayer doesn't like to be questioned, and his temper's even shorter than mine. But I will tell you what, boss, I will think about it. You can't really believe that your idol wants you to commit suicide. Of course not. The Dragon Slayer doesn't want me to die, but he does want me to kill dragons that ain't supposed to be safe or easy. It isn't my idol's fault that I'm getting too old to keep up with his wishes. Any updates on Alexander? Nothing new, boss. He's adjusting. It's gonna take some time. It was first expansion was I would imagine get little calmer. Ah, it was an expansion thing. Okay, didn't know that. Nothing but no, Dietrich. Okay. Elanarae, greetings. Amsel peers at you through a battered old pair of wine-rimmed glasses. There's something gentle about the man with his silver hair and his tweed jacket. He looks more like an aging art history professor than he does like a criminal go-between. Is there something I can do for you? I sent a man named Quoin to talk to you. He wants to sing in a neighboring Keats. They are on hard times and I promised them some rations. Ah, Quoin of the Rabengeist. Yes, in fact I received a message from this man just a short while ago. If this is your wish, I will work with Samuel to coordinate a shipment of surplus rations to Gesundbrunnen. I did hear about Gunnaris with the shipments, by the way. If we are to aid Quoin, then I trust that our misunderstandings with the Rabengeist have been resolved? Yes, and I hope that we've made some new allies as well. Today it's Gesundbrunnen hard times, but tomorrow it might be the Kreuzbazaar. A wise move, Elanarae. I think Monica would be proud. Very well, I shall make the arrangements. I'm glad you were able to retrieve Gunnari's shipment without needless violence. Good work. I don't need anything, sorry to bother you. Am I still missing some money? 300 messages. One last DVD. Ooh. This wind flickers to life and Malit's face appears. She wears a plastic smile. Oi again, Elanarae. Well, I've recovered one last DVD for you, but I'm afraid that's all you're gonna get. You might as well use the rest as coasters. They'll all be one repair. If you look on the table beside your DVD player, you'll find the disc that are salvaged. She pauses, a light frown across her face. To be completely honest, it was a lie. To recover this last disc, I was forced to subcontract. Shrotti is still a brute of a man. I am unimpressed with his manner, and his poor hygiene disgusts me. But he is very good with old things such as this. All credit where it's due. And, still alive. Jana to Elanarae. I guess that I should thank you. You got me out of this horrible job alive. I don't think I could have made it on my own. What happened on that one took everything else away from me. But at least I'm still breathing. The lodge turned me into a killer, Elanarae. That gnaws at my guts every minute of every day, and I still can't sleep at night. Innocent people, normal people, died because of what I did. And you know why they made me do it? Because they could. I don't know, maybe it doesn't bother you. You are a Shadowrunner after all. You kill people all the time. Just another day at the office, huh? Well, I'm not like you. I can't just kill people on a job and forget about it the next day. This is going to haunt me for the rest of my life. I don't know how to live like this, but it's still better than not living at all. That's what I keep telling myself. And so I figured that I might as well tell it to you too. We need to talk. Execuble. Come see me at your earliest convenience. There's a matter that we need to discuss. Okay. Status of the Alice funds. We are still missing quite a lot of money. Post-pay data for sale. So to the highest bidder. Post the financial records. And the technology DNA donor list. Touch the BBS. Ooh! Kaboom! You feel that shake a few hours ago? Not an earthquake. SE facility went sky high downtown. Boom! Can see the smoke from here. Friend of mine down there said it was a power spike that blew the generators. I doubt it. Only Shadowrunners have that sense of flair. You're kidding me? That huge one that sprung up 6 months ago? Place must have cost millions to build. If it was runners, hope they got a major payday. No way I would go anywhere in an SE facility without a trunk full of ammo and a mage watching my back. Honestly, the power spike version sounds more likely. I've walked past that facility and they have guards posted at the door 24/7, not to mention the automated turret systems backing them up. No way someone got paid to waltz through that scheisse, no way. Please help me find my daughter. Royd Mosse 004. Please help me find my daughter. She ran away from home. She's human in her early 20s with short blonde hair and data jack. She was last seen wearing a light blue dress. This is not exactly the place to be looking for missing kids. How did you even get in here? I paid good money to get on here. I was told you people could help. If you've got the new and you came to the right place, I sent you a number that you can reach me at. The old help me find my missing kid routine, a classic. My money's on escaped wage slave. Make sure you do your homework, Ruby. F-state protection. The writers have it on good authority that the Lobachevsky syndicate is eyeing Shaterness for expansion. For the good of the Flux, we should keep a watchful eye on the situation. See attached files for more details. Okay, bad news for Shaterness, but if the Rambok isn't going to stop them and I hear Surfturf is out of the picture, well, I'm sure there's some polyclub out there who wants that piece of the pie. I know we've got enough of them. I know that Humanis has some presence there, but I doubt they will fight the Russians too much. I would say they are far more likely to form a partnership. Energy sources? I've got solar panels like everybody, but does anyone have experience with these mana turbine services? I'm off the grid, so there are some times when I need to do some late night checking or maintenance on my telescoping limbs. Is that the thing where a mage comes by and drops some juice in the generator? My buddy was telling me about them last week. The turbine spins the mana around and the charge lasts for weeks, he said. They are scammed, Chummer. That mage is going to be out there with your money before you realize how much power you've actually got. You're better off pedaling that bike battery. Corp tracers. Anyone have a good backup plan for when you get stuck with a tracer? Barely managed to bug out of my apartment after a corp hit squad came knocking. Lesson learned, pat yourself down a couple of times and make sure you don't have a tail. But if I miss something, I would also keep my safe house, as you know, safe. If you have good luck, I've had good luck with RF blockers. I have a jamming grid set up near my safe house. It projects any signals to a few miles away, but I've got some camera placed. So when someone shows up there, I know they were trying to find me. Then I do a slow sweep to find the tracker. Sharp! How long does that go on before they give up? We told the usually rules of threes. I keep reprojecting the signal to different locations. In my experience, I give up after the third one as a dead end and stop listening to the RF signal. Okay. Claim payment. You submit a job as finished and await your client's response. A few moments later, a message pops onto the screen. From Müller to Elanarae. If you're receiving this message, I've fled the country or otherwise unavailable. Don't worry, you're still getting paid. I've made the appropriate preparations. In any case, Elanarae, thank you for helping me. Please do not attempt to contact me again. As far as the world and my former employees are concerned, I am buried under a ton of rubble. It is the best that I remain that way. Goodbye. Yvonne Jimenez, aka Frau Müller. You shouldn't have used your real name, you stupid board. A moment later, a second message pops in the inbox, the payment details. Payment from client 36,000. Deductions for crew salary, ammunition resupply costs, automatic deduction for Alice funds. Remainder sent to Elanarae's account. Payment transfer complete. Okay. I have minus fund and 500 new and over. Nice. Optional meet with Doctor is Etzkibel. Oh, let's actually do this. I mean, why not? What's the worst that can happen in before a 20-hour long mission that I'm going to hate and I want to kill myself? I hate it when games are like, oh yeah, sometimes you can't save because you lose swag. Welcome back. What can I do for you, my friend? I got your message. What did you want to discuss? Business. I have a job for you. I'm a little surprised that you want to hire me. We haven't always seen eye to eye. That's true, we haven't, but I'm confident that you are the right woman for the job. Good enough for me. Good. So let's get down to brass tacks, shall we? Back before I emigrated here from my native Spain, I worked in partnership with a Berlin-based R&D lab. The biotech that they were developing was very hush-hush, very cutting-edge. Our arrangement was that I would bankroll their research, and they in turn would provide me with unique merchandise to sell in my clinics. Go on. About 2 years ago, things went sour. My name was slandered, and the fickle mistress and its public perception turned against me. An ugly business, I assure you. Even talking about my fall from grace makes my stomach turn. The injustice of it all is almost too much to bear. Just how was your name slandered? What did they accuse you of? What didn't they? Theft, medical malpractice, the sale of stolen goods, also more colorful accusations that shouldn't be repeating. But that was then and this is now. I came here to Berlin to escape all of that. Of course, I also moved here to be closer to the lab that I would fund it, and the merchandise that I am owed. So let me guess, you want me to go fetch the merchandise? Yes, and to find out what happened to the lab itself. The facility is locked down, you see, nearly impenetrable, and I have no idea why. As I was packing to move to Berlin, all was well. 16 hours later, I arrived to discover the building locked tight, with my merchandise inside. The Turk Altuk has been running surveillance on the site since I set up shop here. In that time no one has entered and no one has left. Whatever went wrong in there, it must have killed the research team. I want to find a way into the building, recover the cybertech that they were developing, and find out what happened to the researchers. In that order. If your merchandise has been sitting in this building for 2 years, why didn't you approach Monica about this? Who said that I didn't? I had a, let us say, tumultuous friendship with your dear departed Monica. We had our ups and downs, you see, and on this subject she was most certainly down. That was her choice. I'm hoping that you will be safe enough to not make the same mistake. If the building has been abandoned, I'm surprised that the lot is sitting on hasn't been gobbled up by some corp or another. Don't be. Back when I was a wealthy man, before my legal troubles, I paid the lease for a decade in advance. And before you say anything, yes, it was a huge expense. But what's locked away inside of that lab is worth 10 times what I've spent on it. I don't want anyone laying claim to it but me. Alright, let's talk compensation. What's in this for me? I can't afford to pay you in new yen, and that's your own fault, by the way. You shut off a good chunk of my revenue when you pulled that stunt down in the sewers. But what I can do is give you first crack at any biotech that you recover from this site, and make it available to you at a discount. This is top of the line ware that we are talking about, mind you, better than anything else that I've got in stock, and because it's biotech, the assets loss from implanting it will be minimal. It's a win-win, even for a shaman like you. So what's it going to be? Will you take the job or not? Alright, Okamin. Excellent. The facility that you're looking for is the former laboratory of Sotalin Bioscience. Take the U-Bahn to the Adenauer Platz, and you are sure to find it. Best of luck. I think I do this tomorrow. If I stream tomorrow. The next time. Yes, I will do this the next time. It's getting late. I want to farm a little bit more in Grim Dawn. And my voice is killing me. My throat. Holy fucking shit. I don't talk so much even when I'm at work, for fuck's sake. Holy shit. I know why I don't play a lot of RPGs that have a lot of talking in them. In Skyrim everything is voiced, or? Maybe I should play this the next time. Anyways, I thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And we will see each other soon. So take care and goodbye.